Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books, and it's the end of 2019. We've only got one more day left, and that has me thinking about, resolutions and that sort of things, and trying to get back on track after the hectic time of the holidays. So that made me dip into this book that I own that I really like called Daily Rituals: How Artists Work. It's by, what's the guy's name? Mason Curry. And I don't know where I picked this book up, but it's fun. You can just dip into it and read about different artists and their schedules, their daily routines. Like this is Flannery O'Connor I was just looking at. And let's see, in the front here they show Benjamin Franklin's schedule. He got up at 5. From 5 to 7, he got ready for the day. 8 to 11, he worked. Noon and 1, he read, looked over his accounts, and dined. Then he worked again from 2 to 5. And then in the evening, he put things in their places. Supper, music or diversion, or conversation, examination of the day. Then he slept from 10 to 4. So some artists were really erratic and, worked all night and, were on drugs and things like that. But most artists, had really good routines. They got up early and they worked hard. Some of them got up really early, some maybe a little bit later, but nobody was later than 8, say. And they would work all morning, some for 3 hours, some for 6 hours, and then they would take a break, and a lot of them would go walking in the afternoon. Walking was a big part of their day. And then in the evening or in the late afternoon, they might do a little bit more work, and then they would socialize in the evening. So I find it fascinating, really fascinating, and I'm trying to figure out how to organize my day, which is something I'm just, eternally doing, trying to get more organized about things. My goal, and I'm thinking of this in terms of reading, because since I'm taking care of these 2 little kids, and it takes a big chunk of my day and also my energy, I'm trying to figure out how to get things done that I want to get done. So my new goal is to wake by 6, which sometimes I wake early, like 5 o'clock, but sometime lately, because I've just been so tired, I've been sleeping in. And I don't like getting up after the 4-year-old has woken up and after his mother's gone to work, because I want a little quiet time to myself before I have to start my nannying duties. So my new goal is going to be to be up by 6, to get dressed right away, to go downstairs, feed the cat, make the coffee. Then I'm going to read my meditation that I like to do for just 5 minutes in the morning. And for 2020, I'm going to read Pascal's Pensées. We'll see if I can get through it. This is Penguin Classics, and I'm assuming that's a good translation. I wonder if there are other translations out there. But anyway, this is something I've long wanted to read. And I started it once before, and I just didn't get into it. But I've decided 2020 is going to be the year that I discover Pascal. So it's going to be my morning meditation for 2020. And then I'm going to study until March, which is when I take the National Latin Exam, Level 3. I'm then going to devote my morning time until about 7 to studying for my Latin exam. And then at 7, see, the little boy can wake up anywhere from 6:30 to 7:15. Sometimes I have to go down and wake him up. But what happens is if he gets up before 7, I make him lie down on the couch with his blanket until 7 o'clock. So hopefully I'll get a little bit of studying. I figure I have to be flexible. If I just get 5 minutes in, that's good. Anything's good, and hopefully I'll get about 30 minutes in, which is good. That'll be good. That'll be enough. So anyway, so that'll be my Latin. So it'll be meditation and Latin study in the morning, and then at 7 o'clock my duties, my regular daily duties begin, and I have to make breakfast, take care of the little guy, get him to preschool, come home. I may, if I don't have to watch the baby usually shows up around 10. then I can maybe watch a booktube video, do a little housework while I'm doing that. I could read. Maybe I could take half an hour and try to read. That sort of thing, get stuff done. And then on the days when the baby comes, I can watch booktube videos sometimes while I'm watching the baby, but not too much. I just hold him. I'm not as versatile as I was when I was younger, and I could multitask with babies. And then I have to go pick up the little boy from preschool, and then in the afternoon, that's really my downtime. I would love to take a nap, but he doesn't nap, and so we wind up just eating lunch, reading stories, playing games, puzzles, going outside if the weather's nice for a while. And then we have like an hour of TV where he watches his favorite show, Paw Patrol. And then his mom usually comes home, although lately it's been really bad because his mom has been working like 80-hour weeks, so she doesn't get home till 7:30 or something, which is hard. But so then I'm really tired by the end of the day, and I can barely keep my eyes open to read. And I used to, when I was homeschooling my teenagers, they did everything independently. So they would go to co-op courses or community colleges, or they'd have an online class or something, and I really had a lot of downtime. Or I would drive them places where I could listen to audiobooks. But now I'm just running really short errands, to the preschool and back, and then I have kids in the car, so I can't listen to audiobooks. So my reading time is really limited, and it's ironic that I started a booktube channel, excuse me, just when my reading time was, becoming more and more limited. But, c'est la vie. So anyway, and then when I get off duty, and I have to plan for dinners and that sort of thing, but when I get off duty in the evening, that's when I take my shower, and I'll just maybe make my videos and read. I'll just devote the evening to reading as much as I can anyway, as much as is practical. So anyway, those are my kind of, they don't seem very ambitious, but they feel ambitious to me, plans for 2020 and how I'm going to fit in reading and watching booktube videos. So and this is my inspiration. It's a really fun book. If you can get your hands on it, I recommend it. It's every year. I've had it for a few years, so maybe not every year, but every other year I remember I have it, and I'll stop and read about, how Flannery O'Connor or Jane Austen or who else was I reading? Beethoven, how their schedules and how they got things done. Anthony Trollope's another interesting one. So anyway, that's the first book I wanted to talk about. Then I was going to talk about my TBR for January. I'm finishing up Little Women right now. I'm going to read it tonight, and maybe I'll finish it up tomorrow at some point. I'm almost through it. And then I decided on January 1st I'll do a review of that. But in January, I'm going to read Little Men. So that's the next one in the A Year with Louisa May book. And it's a read-along, and I don't understand read-alongs. I think we just post review videos and let each other know. I'm not quite sure. I still haven't worked that out. But we'll see. So anyway, so on tap for January is reading Little Men, which would be a reread for me. And then for my classic spin, I got The Tempest, which is really kind of funny because I think I told Lukash, is that how you say your name, at Totally Pretentious, is that right? Because he wanted to know what people wanted him to read next, and one of the suggestions was The Tempest. And I said, read The Tempest, because I have been meaning to read this. We went to a really wonderful play, theater production at the National Shakespeare Theater with The Tempest. It was absolutely enchanting. And I came home thinking to myself, I've really got it, because I hadn't read it before. I read like a little synopsis of it before I went. So I would sort of have a general idea, but I didn't really know the play. And ever since, I've been wanting to read it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So in this January, I'm reading The Tempest finally, so I'm excited about that. Then the next thing is, I've already started this. Where is it? It's just on my Kindle. But I started reading The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which is something I've been wanting to read for a couple months now. My husband read it last year, or no, a few months ago. And so I was intrigued by it. And it's a chunkster. It's 1,280 pages long or something. Of course, I'm reading it on the Kindle. But so it qualifies for the Chunkster Challenge at Alan Morton's channel. So he's reading these chunksters, which he defines as over 800 pages. And then for every chunkster he reads, he's trying to give money to this particular charity that he's involved with, the International Book Aid, I think it is. So I'm going to try and do that as well, but I can't do a chunkster a month. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough reading time. So I'm going to go for 6, maybe. So The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, I started it in December. I'm only like 11% through, but I haven't been reading it steadily. But hopefully in January, I'll read it more steadily. Not quite sure how. I'm hoping I'll finish it by the end of February, maybe. So, but that's going to be something I'll be reading in January. And then I'm really excited about this one. Kate Howe is hosting a read-along of Romola. I hope I'm saying that right, Romola, by George Eliot. And when she announced that, I got really excited because I've read Middlemarch, Adam Bede, and I've read Silas Marner several times. I first read that when I was a teenager. But I've never gotten any further. And so I've been thinking in the back of my head that I want to read more George Eliot. And so when this opportunity came up, I got excited. So I'm going to try and make that the first book that I get out of the library as an ebook and read on my Kindle. I still have to figure that out, how you do that. But I think I'm going to do that, and I better do it soon because I want to get started on it. So that's what I'm going to be reading in January. Little Men by Louise May Alcott, The Tempest for my classic spin, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich for the Chunkster Challenge, and Romola by George Eliot with Kate Howe. So I think January sounds like a really interesting month. And then, let's see, what am I reading right now? Excuse me. I wanted to read The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tay, but I'm pushing that off to February because I don't think I'm going to be able to accomplish that much. I just don't have enough time. Anyway, I'm finishing up Little Women now, and I sort of keep dipping into this book, The Little World of Don Camillo. It's so funny, but it's really like just stringing a lot of short stories together. So it's the kind of thing where you can just pick it up and read a short story and put it down, and a couple of days later pick it up again. So I have started that too. And so let's see, what else was I going to talk about with my plans for... Oh yeah, I was going to... So here are some of the chunksters that I think I might try to read for Alan Morton's... Morton, I hope I sang your name right, his Chunksters for Charity, because I looked up books that I wanted to read and to see if they were long enough. So I've been wanting to read Bleak House, so I'm going to do that. On top of all this, in 2020 is the A Year of Reading Your Own challenge. That's from Books I'm Not Reading and Old Blues Chapter and Verse. And so my own interpretation of that is that I'll read stuff that's already on my shelf, or I'll get stuff out of the library. So some of these, like Bleak House, I already own, and that's long enough that it qualifies as a chunkster. And then I was going to read the Swallows and Amazon series, and together, collectively, the 7 books or whatever, are over 800 pages. But then the other books I was thinking of, if I could get out of the library, are Rebecca West, Black Lamb and Gray Falcon, which I believe is about World War II in the Balkans, maybe. And then Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I've heard of that for ages and ages, and I've been wanting to read it for a long time. And then I was thinking The Hunchback of Notre Dame, especially because poor Notre Dame has, apparently it's so fragile from the fire, they don't know if they can repair it. So that's really sad. So I'd like to read The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then I've heard good things about Elena Ferrante's series, an Italian series. I don't know enough about it, but I've seen the covers and I've heard people reference it, and it sounds intriguing. So those would be the other possible chunksters for his charity, whatever he's doing, whatever you call it. What do you call that when you do that? His challenge. So anyway, I can wrap things up now, but I will link below to Kate Howe, both the Romola and the A Year with Louisa May, and I'll also link to the Chunkster Challenge below as well. And anyway, I hope that you have a great New Year's. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything. I really don't feel up to doing anything. I think I'll just stay home and read. And then, have a glass of champagne at midnight and go to bed. So anyway, but Happy New Year's to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.